very light.
Very handsy.
Well, yeah, all right. Maybe I won't lead with that. Guys, I'm super handsy. Super handsy. I mean, I am a very tactile person, but only with people who want to be tactile, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's it. Let's just coop us up and go stir crazy.
Into a whole thing. No, I got
by the end of it, I'll be on the floor like, this is too hot, help me.
So I have builders next door, and they're very nice.
Yeah.
But they're loud.
Oh.
They're friendly, but they're loud friendly.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
Oh, I don't mind aggressively friendly people.
Oh, I do.
Surprise! I've bought ice lollies and I've never met you before.
That's fine. That's a good start to the day.
Start to the day. Excuse me, I have been on a 7.5 mile walk. Why the fuck we thought it'd be a good idea in this weather? It's too warm. It's too warm to go anywhere.
Bringing the fan down.
Honestly, that would have been a good idea. I'm just saying.
It's just noisy.
Oh god, no then.
Yeah. We'll just sit. We'll do like a steam box for an hour.
Just hotbox ourselves in, yeah. Maybe that's another thing.
That's a different podcast.
That's a whole other podcast for another day.
That's criminal
Jenny
evidence.
Graham.
That'd be an interesting podcast to do.
It'd be hilarious. But you could watch like really random stuff either on like YouTube or watch like do it and then watch your own like podcast back and like react to your own podcast while hotboxing yourself. It would be the biggest mindfuck that has ever happened, and it would be amazing.
I think if they legalise weed, I might do that.
Yeah.
Just with the podcast.
Yeah.
Just from that point on, it'll no longer just be coffee. It'll be coffee and weed.
Yeah.
And we'll sit and discuss a serious topic for an hour.
The thing is, though, it could be like 4 hours of podcast at that point.
You need someone who's not high to man the camera.
Yeah. Boof.
What is that? You look after it. Cool. Are you about ready to go?
Yeah.
Do you need a loo or anything?
No. I'm good.
Cool.
Coffee.
I've already been recording, so.
Oh.
I've done that cheeky thing where I just start recording. Well, welcome to Yelling at Concrete podcast.
Thank you for having me.
For anyone out there, I've got Jen with us. This is the general problem I have with a few guests.
General problem. Hilarious.
If that I give them a title where I'm like, you're a poet, you're an artist.
Oh, I'm not really anything.
But you get to classify yourself now.
Ooh.
And you could technically lie.
Book nerd.
Just a book nerd.
Oh, well.
No?
Yeah, I suppose. Book nerd.
You could have been like professor of books.
Wish I was Leslie Knope.
Yeah?
Yeah, from Parks and Recs. And if no one got that reference, I don't want to know.
Why are they watching?
I know. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, you're on that level. Book nerd. Yeah. Wish I was more of a book nerd in that. I wish I had more qualifications about books, but yet to reach past the point of just the masters. But that doesn't mean I don't love books and buying books and slightly obsessing over books. I was trying to work out last night because I was like, how many books have I actually bought in the last year?
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, I do go to charity bookshops a lot. So they range between 25p, the ones in Market Raisin, you can go in, and some of them will literally let you put it in a bag and then buy them for £1, the whole bag. So I've bought like 13 books for £1 once. So I
did not know about that.
It's amazing.
But that's dangerous because I'm one of those people who goes in charity shop and I buy a book.
Yeah. I don't buy one book. If I come out with one book, then something's gone wrong because normally I will buy 6, 7.
Oh, I'm cheap as well though. That's the other thing.
But they're only like maximum.
If it's going over like £1, I'm not
see
going.
The St Barnabas one, they're £1.25.
Yeah.
But they have a great one out in Huntington on the forum. It's called The Storyteller.
Okay.
And it's the whole top floor. It's just books. Me and my friend go there every like month, maybe 2 months, and we'll come back with about 13 or 14 books. But a lot of people donate things that are like bestsellers or stuff that they just bought. Like I've got a friend who I used to work with, and she will literally buy it straight out of Waterstones.
Yeah.
As soon as it comes out, read it once, and she never reads it again. So she just hands it over.
It's everything at the minute where I'm not buying new books. I'm refusing to buy books brand new. And I'm trying, even like with like new things, I'm going Amazon used and trying to get a used copy.
I prefer used anyway because they have much more of a life about them. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love if something's got like highlights in or underlined or dog-eared or someone has written in an inscription. Yeah. I just think there's something wonderful about the fact that it's been through so many people and people have experienced this book and maybe had a similar reaction to me or like experienced it in the same way. I love that idea of a commonality that when you read a book that's like, I've got a copy of Persuasion from about 1912, something like that. I got it from a charity shop. But there's like a little inscription in it, like a happy birthday so-and-so and this, that and the other. And thinking that person read it then.
Yeah.
And that's connected us through these time periods that is like 100 years apart.
Yeah.
And we're reading the same pages. I love that. It makes me so happy.
I love it when you get one which like it's like a recent book and it says happy birthday and you're thinking this is definitely not wanted.
Yeah, that person did not enjoy
like,
that.
They bought it, they wrote an inscription, they thought, yes, they will really enjoy this, and then
no, they didn't like that.
They didn't want that.
Like that.
Went to the charity shop.
Yeah, no,
I know. It's been out for 2 months and it's like...
I got an amazing one that's like a 1970s Winnie the Pooh, illustrated version. I know that sounds really ridiculous, but it's about this big and it is gorgeous. Like all the illustrations are in mint condition, everything. It cost me like £2.50. It's amazing. I love it. I love buying books. But I was trying to count them out because I was like, right, come on. These I've got like 6 or 7 piles beneath some bookshelves. And I was trying to count them out, the ones that I got in the last year, and there must be over 100.
Yeah.
Which, when I say that, I'm like, I've not read 100 books in a year, that's for sure.
But do you give as many books away? Or do you never give books away?
No, I can't, even if I've double upped. Like, sometimes I will accidentally buy 2 copies of something because I've forgotten that I've bought it, which is why a lot of the time I post it on Instagram because it's a way for me to look back and go, oh, I've bought it.
Yeah.
And I've just not read it.
Yeah.
Like, Goodreads is really good for that, the app, because... you can do like the reading challenge and put in what you've read and it shows you how much you've read. So you can go back and go, oh, hang on a sec, I read that not long ago. Yeah. But I'm terrible for it. Like, I was really excited the other day because I'm trying to collect all the Harry Potters, like the kind of original-ish covers, because they've got those newer ones that are like kiddish and I don't like them. Yeah. They've got the adult version, I'm like, I don't like them either.
You've got like an anniversary version now.
Yeah, I love the anniversary versions that are in house colours.
Yeah.
But the problem is they've only released the first 2. And that's going to take me a while to get through that. Like, I don't want to wait however many years, 7 years, to have the whole collection. I mean, I will, because I'm a confirmed Hufflepuff. But still, like, that's not the point.
That might be the point.
That is not the point. That's not the point. The point is to have both.
It's verging past interest in books to I have a problem.
I mean, I very much have a problem. I can't help it. I'm like, oh, yeah, that one, that looks nice. That looks nice.
Have you bought a book when you didn't want to buy a book?
I don't think I've ever come across that situation.
Like, you've been in a shop, couldn't find something you wanted, and then be like, I gotta buy a book.
Do you know what? That's
when it's a problem.
The only place...
That's when it's just compulsion at that point.
Yeah, that's when it's just kleptomania. I think Waterstones sometimes.
Right.
Only because I'm a tight bastard when it comes to buying books, because I can get them in a charity shop.
Yeah.
And I will buy them from Waterstones, but very rarely, because a lot of the time they're coming out in paperback.
Yeah.
And you could probably wait around to get them. Plus, like, when I look at the ones I've got from charity shops, I can work out I might have bought 6 books and they could have been 50 quid in total if I'd have bought them from Waterstones, but instead I spent £8 on them.
Yeah, the only time I buy from Waterstones is when it's like, buy one,
get
one free, or someone's giving you a gift card.
Yeah,
like,
I got, for Christmas, I got a national book token thing, and they're accepted everywhere, quite a lot of places in Lincoln take them. But I think I got like £50 on that for Christmas one year, and that was like the best day ever.
My problem with like
someone
gift
got
cards
me for my birthday as well.
Generally, someone will give you like a £10 and gift card, and you're like, that's not enough for Waterstones.
That's like one and a bit.
That's going to give me one and maybe like a piece of paper, like an accessory pack to go with this book.
Oh no, you can't get a bag to go with it in Waterstones. They're like
you buy a pencil.
Oh yeah,
your book could be £7. Your pencil would be £3.
Love a key ring. I do. I love a key ring.
I feel like Waterstones is one of those places which like kind of it kills books.
Yeah.
But it also keeps books alive, because like you get like the higher tiers of people who are like middle class who are like, we'll go Waterstones, we'll buy a nice book, and that's keeping books alive in like a pricey range.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it blocks off everyone else because like.
Do you want to know a really good way of doing sort of supporting Waterstones, but also saving money? Yes, but also saving money is I worked out is that if you go online and go onto the Waterstones online, they match their prices to Amazon.
Okay.
And if you click and collect, you can go and pick it up in store for free. So you will spend the same you would spend on Amazon, but online at Waterstones. So technically you're supporting Waterstones.
So Waterstones basically just becomes a post office at that point.
I mean, yes.
I mean, they could do that.
But also if you don't want it, you could be like, I don't want it anymore. Yeah. You just leave it there. Because you don't pay until it gets there.
Okay. That's interesting. I feel like I need to order like 100 things now and just leave them there.
Oh.
Just abandon 100 books.
It's just, you know that I'd go in and be like, I want all of those 100.
But then I'd make them weird things.
No, but I love weird books.
I'd get like the history of tractors and stuff which you'd never want to read.
Not unless it was in some sort of like the worst library sales.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to them?
I've been
because
to library sales, yeah.
they are like weird and wonderful world of books that just no one ever wants to read.
We used to spend so much time in the library as kids. It would be like every time we went to town, parents would go off and do something and we'd go to the library because from Scunthorpe, their library's quite big, surprisingly. Like their central library was really good and it had like a large reference session, but it would be every so often there'd be a library sale. And just be wandering through these rows of books and I'd just take home books which I didn't even want. Because I'm like, oh, it's a library sale. I'm buying a book, and
and they're 10p. Why wouldn't I?
10p. That makes me adult. I'm buying the books.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there with my books. And
I remember going to the library as a kid, and my mum's rule was, she was like, "Oh no, you're not allowed to take out more than 6 books. Yeah. That's the library rule." And she was like, "No, it is." And I was like, as I got older, I was like, "That's not real. That's a lie to keep us from getting more books." She's like, "It's the only way I could keep track of all of your books is if I told you all. You could only have 6. That's still 24 books, Jenny." I was like, "Fair play." But
our library rule was 10, but I used to max that out every time.
Really?
I wouldn't read all 10, but I liked the idea of having 10 books.
See, I think I would read all of them.
I was over ambitious with how much I could read. Like I can read well.
You can read now. Oh, congratulations! Well done.
I could read as a child, but at the same time I'd be like, no, I'm going to get all these books. They're really interesting. And they're like, no.
Oh no! Oh God! I remember just loving the library. I've still got my library card.
I think
I've still got it. Card. I think mine was a second one though, because I think I lost it when I was 8 or 9.
But then I hate Lincoln Library.
Oh, what, the central one?
Yeah.
I don't really go there anymore. I went there for they've got like a suffragette exhibition on at the minute, which is actually quite interesting. They've got loads of like newspaper articles and stuff. But I've only ever really gone in there now for sales because we lived out like further out on Birchwood area, so we used to go to the Birchwood Library, which has a really nice kids section, and so the central library was like a treat if we went there. That was like, oh my God.
I don't know what bothers me about central library. It's just it seems very small for Lincoln being the size it is, and then it's kind of like all one floor. You just kind of get in there and you're like, yeah.
I know, I feel like libraries should be like, oh my God, we're in a magical world where we can read everything and there's so many books.
I don't get why libraries...
And there's not.
You get that in a bookshop. Resemble bookshops.
Yeah, it should be more like Waterstones.
Libraries should have a cafe and be multiple floors, spread out nicely, things on show, but they don't. They just put them in one big
section.
warehouse space.
Yeah. A bit like Jumbly Sailing.
In like a 1970s warehouse village.
No, it's not great in there.
Old hall or something like that.
Oh, no,
Maybe if they did them more like book fairs. Book fairs were always exciting.
Oh my God, love a book fair. God, I used to love that. I never really got any from the catalogues though. I think it was because we used to use the library quite a lot that there just wasn't a need for it at the time.
I was allowed 1 book from the book fair every
year.
Really? So I'd go through all of them. But then at the same time... I
used to waste mine.
See, my mum was a teacher assistant. So she was kind of like behind the scenes.
Ooh.
And you'd be like...
Insider trading.
And I used to get to look through the books which they took out of the book fair. Because they deemed them like wrong or too scary or anything like that. So there'd be this like extra little stack of books. They'd be like, yeah, so I'm...
Oh my God, contraband books.
I know.
They're the books.
It's mainly Goosebumps. For some reason our school had a problem with Goosebumps.
I mean, I was scared of Goosebumps, but that's because I am just so terrified of everything. Yeah. So that's why I didn't like Goosebumps, because my imagination was like, yeah, this is it. This is how I die. Like completely, yeah, there's going to be a sponge under my sink that comes out and gets me in the night, and that's it. That's how it happens.
I think I got my copy of The Shining from a book fair at one point.
Oh, wow. Wow, that went dark.
It's just one of those ones like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's go with that.
I know, you used to go through before that kind of stage where you could go out and buy your own books, or you kind of understood what genre was, and where before people went, oh, you like read classics and things like that. Yeah. There was that nice interim period where anything on your parents' bookshelf was fair game. It's kind of like, okay, I've kind of read everything in this, like the kids section stuff and these, let's just read this. And my mum would be like, oh, try this one or try this one. Stuff that she clearly like read and deemed it's okay to let a 9-year-old read a Maeve Binchy. And I was like, great, give it to me. And I do still love Maeve Binchy. Like, I think I've read everything. But I would just, Agatha Christie's, I'd be reading them because there was loads of them in the house, anything off the bookshelf. And that was, I think, before you have that thing of people going, oh, well, you know, you should be reading the classics, or you should be reading this good literature or whatever. Yeah. That kind of, oh, read the intellectual stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I like this. I like reading stuff that I enjoy.
So do your parents read a lot?
Yeah, big readers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got... my mum and dad are both big readers, and when we were kids, it was, well, when you go to bed, we never had TVs in our room or anything like that. It was like, you either read or that's it.
Yeah.
And that was obviously before the internet and before dial-up was even a thing.
Way back when.
Way back when, before we had no other...
before time.
When the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And
in
the
dark
dial-up
period.
But yeah, and I remember staying up, and I would have like way past my bedtime. Like I'd have my light, and then they'd come in and be like, "You need to take your light off and go to sleep." But all right, yeah, get out my torch.
Yeah.
And be like that, reading with a torch. And at one point, I remember having the worst light where I could see 3 words, but I was still like, "Let's keep reading. I want to see how this ends."
You wear glasses now.
I mean, I do for driving, but I've still got good eyesight.
Okay.
Not for reading.
So the parents are lying, really, when they're like, it'll ruin your eyesight.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just
we always got that classic one of like, you'd be sit reading and then it'd go dark whilst reading. Mum was like, "Oh, put a light on. It'll strain your eyes." And you're like, "I'm fine though. I don't get what the deal is. I'm doing this every day."
Have you got bad eyesight now?
No, my eyesight's fine.
No, my parents are really big readers, and I think that helped because they always encouraged us to go to the library, read books, and, you know, get involved in it and take time to read rather than sitting and staring at a screen or anything like that. They'd rather we sit and read. I remember my mum used to read to us all the time before we go to bed, constantly. Like, one of our favourites was Enid Blyton, which, you know, looking back, you know, a little bit squiffy, but Enid Blyton's The Enchanted Wood and the Faraway Tree.
Yeah.
That was just one of our absolute favourites. And I remember she used to do all the voices and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's part of it. It's like a comfort thing sometimes. There is a safety in it.
Yeah, definitely. I know with Enid Blyton is a weird one. Like I still have, I think it's called The Brer Rabbit.
Yeah.
And that has a gollywog in it.
Yeah.
And I remember picking it up. It was, I think about 4 years ago, I picked it up and I flicked through and I was like, there's a gollywog. I don't remember.
I can remember so clearly being in about, I don't know, like year 2 or something, like 7 years old or something.
Yeah.
And I was a decent reader, so I was reading like some of the Enid Blyton ones then by myself, like to take home.
Yeah.
And I think I was reading like Amelia Jane Does It Again or something like that. And I remember reading it and then asking my mum and dad what a gollywog was, and them having to explain what it actually meant. And I can remember the conversation because it's one of those moments where you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ice cream truck out there.
Classic ice cream truck. Middle of the day. I mean, that's the first time I've heard it in this heat wave. So
it's clearly got...
I don't like, all the gollywogs were weird ones as well. I vividly remember being in primary school and them doing like a show and tell thing.
Yeah.
And someone had brought one in.
Oh no.
But the teacher didn't tell us about it, really.
Really?
She was like, "Oh no, it's just an old toy." And that was the blank thing we were given. It was like, it's just an old toy. They don't make them anymore. They're no longer popular.
See, I remember my mum and dad being like, no, they were banned because they were inappropriate.
See, like my nana, I vividly remember, had the small figurines like in her kitchen, like around the top of her kitchen. And we never thought anything of it because they were just, they were my nan's figurines. We didn't really know what they were. They were just...
Well, that's it. You don't know, do you? And then you're like...
And they gradually disappeared. Over time.
All of a sudden.
They gradually disappeared. It's like, oh dear. Casual racism.
We've gone deep for 2:35 in the afternoon.
It's fine. It's the coffee.
It's Enid Blyton.
It's the heat in the coffee.
The heat in the coffee,
Enid Blyton.
That is the title of my autobiography.
Yeah. But no, like, my parents weren't massive readers. Like, we were read to a lot as children. Like, they read a lot of children's books. But like, my dad doesn't do a lot of reading. If he does, it's more factual things, like stuff which he needs to read.
Oh, okay.
So like, he'll have something to do. He'll read something about it, but he doesn't really read anything outside of that. And then my mum's very much Danielle Steele.
Oh, right, okay,
like traditional, middle-aged woman literature. And then she reads a lot of things like that. But then my gran reads loads of detective stuff.
Oh, sweet.
And she likes like
my
weird little
like
that. Puzzle things, thrillers. But we were never really given them.
Oh, really?
Like, they didn't really hand it. We just found our own way within literature of this is where you go pick something you enjoy.
Yeah.
So we did, and then rolled on through that.
I feel like we've been really lucky in that me and my siblings have had that kind of setting for it, because when we go on holiday, even as kids, my mum and dad were always like, yeah, we go to the beach. They're like, but we want somewhere we can sit and read.
Yeah.
On our family holidays, as we got older, we would all take about 6 books and we just sit and read all holiday. That is my dream holiday, is just to lie down in the sun and read books. Me and my friend are going away in like 2 months or something. and we're both big readers. She's like my other person who comes with me in bookshop hunts.
Yeah.
And we've both said we want a beach where we can sit and read for 6 hours at a time. That is our holiday.
That's the goal.
That is the goal.
So just come back brown with like a small shadow where the book was.
Yeah, just a little like, just across this section here.
So how did you manage to miss your face and your
neck?
Well.
Yeah, all of my luggage is going to be books, and it usually is taken up by books.
Do you use a Kindle?
Well, I don't...
To save you carrying...
Yeah, see, this is the thing, is I know people who've got them.
Yeah.
And my friend has got one, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I like holding a book. I like the smell. Yeah. I like the feel. I like all of it. I don't know.
But the practicality.
I know.
That's the only drawback.
I feel like I'm staunchly set in my ways there. I don't want to give in, but at the same time, I know that if I travelled more, it would be useful, but I really don't travel that often in that it facilitates needing one.
Yeah.
I think if I was a commuter in terms of constantly travelling, or if my job took me away more.
Yeah.
But if I go on holiday, like, you know, this is the first time I've been in a couple of years, don't really need one. It's not really an investment at this point. No. I'll probably borrow one if I tried hard.
They're cheap.
Are they?
Yeah. You can get a Kindle for about 50 quid.
Oh.
They're not expensive. We got my mum one just for travelling, kind of thing, because my parents started going on cruises, which I don't understand.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know, but like they've never seemed like cruise people.
And all of a sudden...
And then all of a sudden they went on a cruise, and now they go on a cruise every year.
Oh.
It's like they look out for
cruises. Do you think it's like
cruises.
some sort of like random cult thing, like you go on one, they brainwash you, and then you never come back the same?
You hit 55, and then you go to a meeting, and they're like, you go on cruises.
You got to go on cruise now.
Maybe it's something to do with like population control.
Some people just never return.
You can only have so many people in the country at the same time, so they put a lot of 50-year-olds on a boat, push them into
send
the
baby
ocean.
boomers off.
The babies are all born, and then they take them away to their homes, and then they come back.
It's
like Children of the Corn.
Oh my god, I think we've unearthed some sort of conspiracy theory here, Graham.
Once this video is up and we disappear, that's the end of...
Where have Graham and Jenny gone? Well, they went on a cruise.
Well,
and...
they're cruise people now. They just decided they like cruises.
Oh god, I don't know what just happened.
I don't think I could do a cruise.
No. I like boats, but not enough to stay on it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm a bit claustrophobic.
Yeah, I'm a bit like
that.
The idea
of being at sea and not being able to see anything.
Just the fact that I couldn't get out would stress me out. Like, I like the ability to be able to leave somewhere and not feel trapped, but in the middle of the ocean, only so far you can go.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, well, they're massive. They've got, like, shopping centres inside. I'm like, that's not the point. I
like to be able to avoid people as well. And I feel like if I was on a boat and I took a dislike to someone, I'm on that boat with that person. Do you know what?
I am not a holiday joiner. No. Our family's like that, though. You know, when people go like, oh, we're going down to the family things, everyone come... No, we're going to sit here and stay inside and play cards together.
Yeah. we did it, I think we did it twice, where we met a family on holiday, and then we became friends with that family and then started doing stuff with them. But, no.
I just
don't understand other families.
No, well, that's it. Your own family's got your own, like... I just can't, I'm not a joiner. I like to sit in and read my books in the sunshine and then get in the sea, then come back out, sleep, read some more, get back, and just rotate that for a week. Yeah. No, I don't want other people there, really.
But then I don't understand families who do, like, activities together.
Oh, my God.
Like, we'd go on, like, walks and stuff.
Yeah.
Or we'd go, like, do bits of exploring or do whatever. But then be like, oh, no, we're going to go do this activity for the whole day. I'm like, why? I want to go off on my own. My brother wants to go off on his own.
I was about to say, like, even lying down and deciding where you're going to go for dinner or something is a trauma sometimes. Yeah. So the thought of having to, like, I don't know, orienteer is just...
Could you go on holiday with your parents now, do you think? Do you think you could survive that? No.
No, probably not. But then they like to go off and do their own thing. They're proper, like, independent. They're just like, nah, see you later.
Yeah. I think I'd be alright. It'd be one of those things of like you meet them back at the hotel at the end of the day.
Also, I think when I go on holiday with my family, like bearing in mind we only went to Portugal as a group, like as a family a couple of years ago, but we got a big villa and stuff, so it was lovely. It was middle of nowhere, it's beautiful. But there's always siblings with me because I've got 3 siblings.
Right.
So there's usually someone else to like deflect attention or answer questions about like, oh, what you doing, where you going, what you doing? And they're not
so you don't have to handle it all yourself.
No, and they're not doing it to be like intrusive or anything like that. They're just chatting. But you know when you're like, oh, I'm used to a quarter of it, And handling 100% of it takes work because I'm not an only child, so I don't know how that works. I don't understand. I just need a quarter of attention and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm like, the rest of the time, just let me do my own thing. No, I don't think I could do it now. No. They go off on holiday anyway. They go like to Nice and do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, my parents are off about doing things. They recently retired, so they're kind of living it up now.
Nice. On the cruises.
They're going on, well, they were going on cruises before, but yeah, like they bought a caravan as well.
Oh.
But again, not caravan people, and then suddenly bought a caravan.
What's happening?
I don't know. I feel like there's a middle age...
There's something happening.
Something which kicks in.
There you go. Do you know what would be a great idea? Let's get a giant miniature wagon attached to the back of our car.
Because hotels don't exist.
No.
And we can't camp.
No. I don't mind camping.
I say I love camping.
But I haven't been enough to like it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I feel like if I went and it was really sunny...
Yeah.
And I had a nice tent that was like... a decent tent, it would be okay. I think it's I get really cold.
Right.
So that would stress me out. I'd have to have like 400 blankets.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be alright if it was really sunny.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I think in this kind of weather, I'd love it because I like being up early when it's like this and sitting outside, and I'd sit outside and I'd read. But in the morning before everyone else got up. Like I'm a book nerd. I keep thinking of other ways to identify myself, but I'm like, I genuinely can't think of anything else that is of any use.
I'm trying to think of maybe like a more official title than book nerd.
Yeah, because book nerd has like sad implications like nerd, but I'm like, it's not, it's great. Book.
For me, book nerd kind of, it suggests that you I don't know, it's more of an interest than it should be.
Yeah. Book.
Like you'd give up other things for books.
Well, I would.
Being outside.
Oh no, I want to do both.
Yeah.
I like to be outside with books.
Yeah.
I like to do other things as well. See, this is the other things. I feel like it boxes me in. I'm not very good at being put in a box. I'm like, I don't like it. It annoys me. I'm like, don't think I'm one thing. I don't know. I find it really hard to classify myself.
So what do you do outside of books?
What do I do? I'm very social. I know it sounds like I might not be, but...
It sounds like you're defending it.
It does, doesn't it? The lady doth protest
you've
too
gone
much.
Back on you. Trying to backtrack.
Yeah, fucking hate books.
All these books. No, oh wait.
Oh, that's a lie. I love them so much. I can't say that about them. I don't know. I'm really boring. Like, Netflix, love it. Can sit and watch series like everyone else. That's what I do. And a lot of the time, that's what I'd rather do than do anything else.
Yeah.
Bake Off, Professionals, Great British Bake Off, anything like that involves cake. Watching that. Yeah. BuzzFeed quizzes, love them. See what I mean? Like, so boring outside of the book thing. I have a really normal job.
I like that you see the book thing as your exotic thing. When you look at your life, you're like, oh, my life's quite dull, but I really love books.
That is a proper segue. Well, now you've said it like that. Thank you for putting my miserable life into perspective for me.
Everyone has like one interest, which is there.
Thank you. My one interest is books, which I thought at first was quite exotic, but clearly it's not exotic. Sorry, let me just go get my, I don't know. I have made an elephant out of 70s brocade curtains for you. Is that arty enough? Is that cool enough for you, Graham? I'm sorry.
I don't do cool. I can't do cool.
Well, I thought that books were my most exotic thing, so I think we can assume that my level of cool is pretty minimal.
See books are cool.
I mean, I think they are, but...
Yeah. But that's your thing. That's what makes it exotic to you. Like, some people have, like, things which we deem like me saying earlier, like tractors. Yeah. But so to some people, the world of tractors...
Love a tractor. People around here would love a tractor as well.
They would love a tractor.
They would be, like, on that. They'd be like, yes.
I still can't believe they bought a police tractor in Lincoln.
I kind of can. That? Yeah, I kind of can. See, the thing is though, I kind of can. I can understand why you would round here.
I just pictured like tractor chases at this point. Like, I had no reason in my head of why they would need it. Like, it didn't occur to me that maybe they need to pull stuff out of the way or stop things.
I wonder if like a tractor ambulance would be useful.
A trambulance.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That was
That's
brilliant.
Terrible.
That was brilliant. I loved it. A trambulance.
A trambulance.
I think a tractor ambulance would be ideal around here because they're really hard to get to places. What if you have an agricultural accident, which is not uncommon around here, I'd imagine, although I'm sure everybody is very safe, but these things happen.
They do.
And then rather than an air ambulance, or if to assess the needs, you can get there via tractor.
That'll take you forever, though.
Yeah.
You need, like, ambulance hovercraft would be much better. To me. Seems more exciting. Anyway.
It does. To the attraction. So you imagine pulling up like, guys, we're going on there. Oh,
I imagine it would work like a vacuum cleaner. So like you're on your hovercraft and then it slides along and just rolls over the person who's in trouble, sucks them up into the inside, and then you're away.
Carries on.
Yeah. It'd be like a little like Roomba. For corpses.
A little. Oh God! You just like killed them off.
I don't know how you could do it with them surviving, but like. I'm not that much of an engineer. I'm about the cleanup.
Do you know what? I've got some friends, right, and they're a married couple. One's a paramedic and one's an engineer. They'd be on this and be able to do it.
They can take that idea.
Rosie, Martin, let's go. Let's design this.
If they call it the Graham, I'm happy.
Yeah, Rosie, you need to design it.
Yeah.
Martin, you need to figure out the logistical things of being a paramedic.
Yes.
Thank you.
How someone can survive being sucked up by a giant Roomba.
Do you know what? I always thought when I was a little kid, you know the ones that clean the streets, that I used to think that would happen to me.
Oh,
I used to think I'd get sucked up by them.
Yeah.
I was terrified. And the bin trucks, what are they called? Why can't I think of the name for them?
Dustbin trucks?
Are they dustbin?
I think they're just garbage trucks, aren't they?
Garbage trucks, that's American.
Yeah, that's an Americanism.
You know what I mean when I'm doing that, which looks sexually aggressive when I'm doing it, but actually it's not what I meant at all. I was just being a...
I'm not sure how that's sexual, but...
Sorry you've lived such a sad existence,
I've had a sheltered life. I've only read a few books.
Well, funnily enough, I've got 2 in my bag. I've actually got 2 in my bag because I'm reading 2 at the minute.
What are you reading at the minute?
Reading at the minute. Well,
show me what you got.
These are ones that I have actually bought from Amazon full price. Well, not full price.
No.
This really cheerful looking book.
It looks like a delightful afternoon read.
The Tattooist of Auschwitz. Yep. Sunday Times bestseller.
I saw that on your Instagram, and I thought at first, I thought it was like a biography.
Well, it's based on a true story.
All right.
It's based on a true story, and it's technically fiction, but it's also based on a true story.
So it's like dramatization.
Yeah, but I've wanted to read it for ages, but it's still only out in hardback. But then on Amazon, it was down from like £13 to £6, and I was like, done.
That's pretty cool.
Also, I'd just been paid, so I felt like flush with money for 30 seconds.
See, this is the thing. I don't get how a book is $12.99.
I know.
It's not even a big book.
I know, well, that's what I thought, because I was like, oh, actually, it's a lot smaller.
Like, it's widely spaced.
I know. How many pages is it? Me and my friend were asking about that earlier. She wanted to know.
They should do that thing, like when you buy booze.
Yeah.
And it tells you how much booze you're getting for like per litre for price.
Yes.
They should do that with books, but with pages.
Yes. I've just finished one.
How much literature am I getting?
I just finished.
This is 275 pages.
Oh, nailed it. I said it was about 270. Smashed it.
There you go.
Thank you. And then I got on pre-order. I pre-ordered this one because I love these books.
Nice.
It's Matt Haig's one.
Okay.
His new one, and he wrote Reasons to Stay Alive. Mm-hmm. And if you ever struggle with like mental health or anxiety or depression or anything like that, they are unbelievably amazing. They are so kind and expressive and just really useful for people who are going through it or people who are living with people going through anything.
Yeah. It's
really just, I don't know, there is something about them that's really good. But I read Reasons to Stay Alive not long ago, and I love Matt Haig anyway, because he wrote, firstly, he's amazing on Twitter, like, just great on Twitter. And he wrote this book called How to Stop Time, and I read that, and that was fantastic. That's the sort of book that sort of almost explores why reading and books are so good in itself. Yeah. Because it's about a character who he's like 300 years old or something at this point. He's like, oh, I've just got he's like, I've got this kind of condition that means that I don't age as much. And it's about, he jumps from like modern day, and we go back in time with him all the way back, and we meet certain people like Shakespeare and stuff, and spoiler, but it just jumps through these time periods and things like that, and he's just such a good writer. I just love it. So I got that on pre-order because he's at the New York Book Festival next weekend. Nice. So we're going to go see him. It's on Saturday and Sunday, I think. Yeah, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday is the book festival. Have you got books signed before? Yeah.
How do you handle that? Because I can't approach people who
I handle it terribly. Yeah. Like, I am unbelievably
I can't approach them
awkward.
To the point where I would not do it. Like I couldn't go to something and be like, sign my book.
No. Right now, I seem like a generally alright sort of articulate human. I get in front of someone like that and I'm like, you're really good. And they're like, oh, what's the name? Jenny. Jenny. Oh, right, okay. You got any questions? No. She's really good. Thanks. And then I come away from it and just horrified by the experience.
Breakdown.
That has happened at least 2 or 3 times. And to the point where sometimes I just won't queue up because I'm like, no, it's going to be awful. I'm going to be embarrassed. And they're a really good author. Like, we saw Joanne Harris speak.
Okay.
I don't know, like a month ago. Linden Books up the hill. They do loads of really cool, like, authors. Like, they get really good ones as well.
Yeah.
And Joanne Harris is the one who has done Chocolat, Peaches for Monsieur le Cure, and that kind of thing. And she was amazing. You can tell she's done this sort of thing before, and she's a fantastic speaker. And it was like £3.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it. I couldn't go up and queue. Even though I had a copy of Chocolat in my bag, I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm too scared. And then I was really mad at myself because I hadn't done it.
Yeah.
Because I would have really loved it. But, I mean, I did that to Carol Ann Duffy once because I was really into her poetry at the time.
Yeah.
I was about, like, 19, I think. I went to see her and I took my book with it, and I was like, you're really good. Like, thanks. Just saying thank you to her, like, thanks for speaking. And then she was like, oh, yeah. And then she went through and corrected some of my notes in my book. And she was like, oh, this, and this, that's really interesting. And she was like, oh, no, but there's this. And I was
great.
like, thanks, Carol. Like, ran off. Like, mortified that I had even spoken to her. I still got that somewhere, definitely. But just horror. Like, I'm even going red thinking about these experiences.
Yeah. See, I've done it a few times. I've gone to things where there's been the opportunity to meet them.
Yeah.
And my brain breaks down. Like, I went. The one I vividly remember was I went to Thought Bubble Festival, which is up in Leeds.
Yeah.
And it's like a comic book art festival type thing. There was like 3 or 4 tables of people who I wanted to go see, and I couldn't.
Oh.
And I came away, and my brain was just like, I fucking hate you.
I know, it's so awful, isn't it? Because you sit there, and like all of you is like, I'm so excited to see this.
I need to see them.
I need to see them. I can't believe it. I'm
then
finally
what would I
getting to
say?
see them. Yeah. Then what do you say other than like, I really like your work?
Yeah.
And
it's like, I've already proven that because I've already bought them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, I don't need to buy anything from you because I already own it, and I really like you, but I don't want to come across as a stalker. But in my head, we're best friends.
Yes.
I mean, that's how I became friends with you. I was like, Graham, we're already friends. Wait a second. No, we're not.
Well, that's the question. Like, that's the question I usually ask when I start a podcast: is how do we meet, or how long have we known each
Surprise! This is it.
So, how long have we known each other?
Like 54 minutes, maybe that.
In person, yeah.
Oh, in person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we met through
the
internet first.
Well, I suppose because it was Mel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Adorable Melly Clark.
Yeah.
But
bringing together of people.
I know, she is so good at that. I can't do that. I am not good at that.
See, like she's able to approach celebrities.
Oh man.
Like she approached Nick Helm and other people.
I know, she's very good at that sort of thing.
Nicely.
I know, like a normal human would, but
like
no.
they're just another person.
And we're just in the background falling apart. Like, no.
I don't even think I could approach Nick Helm. I'm not even that big a fan of Nick Helm, and I'd be like,
no,
I haven't got anything to say to Nick Helm.
No.
Unless I went across and was just like, my friend Mel has a crush on you, and then just walked away.
She would handle that so well, though.
She would.
She'd like revel in that, and it would be great.
I feel like he'd enjoy it. That's what we should do.
That's what we should do.
We should go to events with people like we don't know, and then just be like, they like you.
We can say it about like strangers though. Be like, see that person over there.
It just sounds like we're absolutely wing-banging celebrities now. Like minor celebrities, and just
not big celebrities, just minor celebrities.
Well, no, I'm not going to walk up to Beyonce and just be like, they really like you.
If you can get that close to Beyonce, where you can do that, I don't know what's happened. You've got into the inner sanctum. You've hit the inner circle. Like
at that point, Jay-Z's dead. Like there's no way.
Whoa, we've hit utopia. No, that was wrong. I meant dystopia. I don't want to see him dead. That's awful.
Sounds like you're really jealous of Jay-Z.
Yeah, didn't it? I don't really care about Jay-Z. I don't like the fact that he cheated on Beyonce. That really...
I don't remember that.
Graham.
I'm sorry. I don't follow their lives.
I don't really follow their lives, but everybody knew about it.
When was that?
That was when she bought out... Yeah, well, she bought out... Was it Lemonade that she bought out? And it's like when he talked about Becky with the long hair.
That's like scathing, yeah.
Yeah, that's about him cheating with someone called... It's Becky with the long hair.
Okay. Have you seen their recent release?
Yeah, they seem nice. Yeah, the thing is though, it's cool that they've worked through it, but I don't... I mean, she's fucking Beyonce. Do you know what I mean? Like... it just despair. Like, me and my friend were like, if someone's going to do it to Beyonce, what fucking hope have the rest of us got?
There's a great thing which I can't remember who said it or anything like that.
I've made a really scathing attack on Jay-Z, and I don't even really like them. Like, my friend loves Beyonce. Like, they went to see them, and she just, oh God, I think she cried. But I'm not really either way. But now I feel like I've really got opinions on it, and I've just discovered these opinions. Sorry, this happens a lot. I told you I have a lot of feelings on a lot of things.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
You're developing them all the time. That's good.
All the time. Like, constantly.
I feel like Jay-Z and Beyonce are like a weird level, though.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're kind of above celebrity now.
I feel like in my head they just live in a haze.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, like, this thing which I heard was something along the lines of, so Jay-Z has fuck you money. So, like, doesn't matter whatever happens in his life, he's just like, no, fuck you. Yeah. Whereas Beyonce has fuck you too money.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, doesn't matter what Jay-Z does. She's just like, no, Jay-Z, fuck you.
Yeah. That is exactly it. Oh. I wish I liked them more, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm indifferent to them, except for that one thing, apparently.
That one thing which stuck with you.
Clearly, it stuck with me. I've got feelings about it that were just latent. This coffee's really good, by the way.
Thank you. For some people, it's too much.
It's delicious. Oh, shit. And I'm finishing it. Fuck it. Can I have some milk, though, please?
Yes, you can.
Thanks.
I'll briefly grab you milk.
Thank you. I'm going to make you get up. Well, we're on a podcast and get me milk. Thank you.
Fine. I did one with my gran the other day and she took a phone call.
Oh, that's so cute. Thank you. That is adorable. Oh, Rep and Co-op. Woo, product placement. Woo. Oh, thank you.
She got paid for that.
I know. Quick, Co-op.
That's what I desperately
Send us all
want.
your dividends.
I would love to have a coffee sponsor for this.
Why don't you get in contact with the people like, the Lincoln-based ones?
Because I feel like this is the other problem. So I've discussed this before. I'm terrible at advertising my own work.
Yep.
So if I did that, I'd feel like I was selling out. I'd need them to approach me.
I mean, you're not Beyonce or Jay-Z, aren't you?
This is the problem.
I mean, I
do that thing where I don't tell about people what I do.
Well, yeah, but you kind of have to be, I don't know, you can be reticent about it and be like, look, I really fucking like your coffee. I do this podcast. Or you could start off like really small and be like, oh, can I just advertise my podcast in here with like a little leaflet or whatever? Yeah. And then you can get to know them, go in there for more coffee, build up a relationship, and then hopefully they will say, and you could be like, hey, do you fancy if I put some of your stuff in my podcast? Or get them to come on and talk about it. And then you could get a sponsor that way.
It's weird how you're gesturing with milk, by the way. It's become part of you now.
Told you I talk in my hands, like, just put anything in my hands, I'm like, just give me some maracas and I'm going to be famous.
But no, I feel like most people know more of my work from other people.
Yeah,
like Mel talks about my work more than I talk about my work.
See, I don't know whether, I can't remember, and I was trying to remember this the other day, whether I found you before I was friends with Mel or vice versa. Because me and Mel only know each other from the 2 shifts we worked together for that brief period of time. Yeah.
Like small section.
Like that literally it was like a 2-week window before I got another job. And then I followed her on Instagram because I was like, I love her, she's amazing. And like with all of my friends in my 20s, I've gone, you're going to be my friend. Right. And hopefully they respond and go, I'm going to be friends too. And it's great.
And not just instantly block you.
That's never happened.
No?
Nope.
You sure?
Well, now you said, you're questionable.
You just live here and try and message me. It's like, this isn't happening. Wait
a second. I know, someone said to me the other day, it was like, oh, it seems that when you become an adult, the only way that people make friends is just an extrovert adopting an introvert.
Yeah, that's a lot of making friends in your 20s.
Yeah, and I didn't think I was the extrovert who adopted introverts, but I am very like, you shall be mine. I'm going to make you my friend.
They adopt them and then they pair off introverts.
Ooh.
I found.
See, it's weird. I was thinking about, this is another thing I was thinking about the other day, is that I've like, someone talked about tiers of friends, and I've got like it's like a best friend tier.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like tiers, like crying
no,
friends.
tier is in like a delicious tiered cake. Okay. But like my top tier is like my best friends.
Yeah.
But I must have about 8 or 9 in there of top tier friends. I'm very lucky. Like, they are amazing. I love them.
Yeah.
They're amazing. I have got such a good set of top tier people. Mm-hmm. Like, it's great. I love them all so much. And they would say the same about me, or they better do outside. Like, I was going to say. I just stalk them down until they do. I would just smother them in love until they responded. That's usually how I work, which is just smother people until they think. It's like Stockholm Syndrome, essentially.
Okay.
But none of them know each other very well. Like, if I put them all in a room, they would all be quite quiet together, I think.
That's interesting.
Like, because they're all quite quiet people.
Yeah.
And if you put me in a situation where it was like me, you, Mel, I would be the quietest one in that situation.
Yeah.
I would feel like I would be all right, but I definitely wouldn't be as chatty. I'm much more like a one-on-one person.
Okay.
Because as well, I feel like, one, you could understand the dynamic quite well in a one-to-one situation.
Yeah.
And then I start to panic in bigger groups. But also, I like to be, like, engaged in the person I'm talking to, like, focused on them. And, like, listening and stuff. And sometimes when... Yeah, a little bit. And it's like, with a bigger group, the bigger the group, the quieter I get.
Yeah,
I think you and Mel were a wrong, like, example there, because I probably would be chatty, but...
I mean,
still.
Yeah.
That's sort of...
It works.
The work, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think that's true. Like, people adopt people with different personalities.
Yeah.
And then, just kind of collude them together in different ways. Mm-hmm. But you should do that, though. You should take your top 8 friends and put them in a room.
That is a significant room.
And record it.
That would be beautiful. Like, there'd be so many intelligent, wonderful, kind people in that room. I would just cry with joy. Because everyone would be so lovely to each other and funny. And, like, there'd be some people sat in a corner reading books. And then there'd be other people just chatting away. And some people would be, like, swearing. All of us would be filthy. Like, just... Oh, I'd love it. Oh, it'd be such a nice room, Graham.
Just got this odd image of you surrounded by a group of people just in the middle crying.
Just some weird, just joy.
Like, are you okay, Jen?
No, I'm just so happy with joy. I think as well, part of it is because I didn't have a lot of friends at school. Like, I was not good at making friends, or I was, but I was a bit weird, so didn't really fit in for a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you find people that are your people, it's just wonderful. It's so nice. It's lovely having people that you can just message the stupidest shit to ever.
Yeah.
And say the stupidest shit.
I mean,
it's great.
Yeah. See, like, that's why I asked earlier about, like, books and giving away books. Because I like giving friends books.
I know.
To, like, keep.
Oh,
like, not borrow, just giving them a book.
See that? Like, I'd have to get it back, I think. Yeah. It depends on what it was.
Would you know what to add to the inscription? Like, you got one which happy birthday. You could add to it and then continue the story.
One of my friends, he loves reading as well, and he will send me books that he loves, but he will send me my own copy, and I will do the same back. So I will send a book I love, but because I love it so much, I'm keeping my copy, but I will give them their own copy to love.
See, I think that's, I don't know, in a way it's kind of like, it's nice, but it also strikes me as quite odd as a possessiveness thing. Because it's almost like you're in your head, you're like, I will never be able to get this story back.
Yeah.
Even though we live in a world where it's quite easy to get another book.
I know, but that book's been the one that has been through it with you. Like, whatever you've experienced is with you, and that's that book's, like, that's part of you. I think, I don't know.
See, I'd prefer to push the narrative. Like
get other people to read it.
I find a second-hand book. It says "Happy Birthday," Kim or whatever in it, and then I just add something to that. After reading it, I've gone through it, and then I give that to someone else.
Oh my god, that's so nice.
And then
that's so much, but I would not give that away. Like, there's no way I'd do that.
You should get to a point where you could just give all your books away, and then you could start again. And then redo.
I would have nothing to show for my life, Craig.
I feel like you're internally switching right now.
Yeah, like, I don't own a lot of things. Like, that is the biggest possession I have is my books. They are like my collection of things. I have not really a lot else to show for my life except those books. So no. I mean, the only one I did give to someone, I didn't give them. I lent it them. I got them to give it back. I was like, oh yeah, I've given it. Oh no, I didn't. No. I got it back, and I made them give it me back.
Yeah.
It was The Alchemist.
Okay.
By, oh god, I can't pronounce his name. Paulo Coelho. I can't pronounce it. Coelho. Coelho. I know.
Yep.
But it's The Alchemist, and it's really famous, and it's brilliant and wonderful. And I remember reading it and being like, that sort of book that kind of opens you up in the middle,
right? And
just lets everything out, kind of thing. And I lent it to my friend because I was like, you need to read this. I was like, you are the sort of person who will respect the energy of this book, which sounds really stupid when I say it, but the book is such a a journey about being connected to the earth and about the universal language and the idea of something beyond what is now. And I was like, you have to read this. So I gave that one away, which for me was a big deal, even lending it out, because to lend it to someone with a book that at the time felt so vulnerable to me, it's mine, it was so close to me, was a big thing, which is why I got it back. But a really interesting thing that came from that is because I am terrible for highlighting stuff that I find really interesting in books. That's just a habit from like uni days. But particularly if I really like a quote, because I want to be able to go back and find that quote and be like, this is the sort of thing I remembered. Like there's certain points in books where you read a line and you're like, this is good, I want to remember this bit of it. And she was reading it and she came back and she was like, I would have highlighted different bits to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? She's like, yeah, I would have highlighted completely different bits to you that were important. And I was like, it's interesting. And I love that we could all read the same book in the same room at the same time. And everybody pulls different things from it.
Have you read The Ship of Theseus?
No.
See, that's an interesting book.
Okay.
So essentially it's... The Ship of Theseus is a novel, which is a fictional novel, but you're reading it. And it's about some mysterious author. And essentially you're reading that, but you're also reading a conversation going on between two people who are leaving notes in the book.
Oh my God, that's great.
So you're kind of working through it, and then because it's one of theirs copies and they're writing a thesis on or something like that. I can't quite remember. But it also includes those like little postcards and notes they're leaving to each other, one another, and they're swapping the book back and forth, and you basically loop 3 or 4 different stories, but all through this like one book.
Oh, I love that sort of thing. I love that. I love it. And honestly, I do. I find it fascinating because I'm really interested in like the way things are mapped in novels. Yeah. And like I've really liked when I did my master's dissertation, I did it all on spaces in novels, so like rooms and boats. I know it sounds really weird when I say it, but like different spaces and the way a house works. And there's one book, Sarah Waters, The Paying Guest, and most of it takes place in this house. And it's set post World War One, right? But kind of it's sort of that interim like 1920s Edwardian period. It's near historical, but they kind of have it's a woman and a mother who own this house, but they can't afford to keep it, so they let out a certain section of it to a younger couple who are like more up and coming 20s, the new generation. And the way that they have changed this house is insane. Like I can see it in my head, like these different rooms where they've had to change like the downstairs living room, which is really formal, into a bedroom. And loads of stuff, really big important things take place on the landing. And I know it's going to sound really ridiculous, but a landing is so interesting in literature because it's not a permanent space. Because if I went and just stood in your landing and just sat down, you'd be like, what are you doing in there? Like it's not socially inscribed with that kind of permanence, which this room might be, or your living room might be, which is it's acceptable to sit in there for 4 hours. But nobody hangs out on a landing for 4 hours. It's a transient space.
I do find that interesting because I've had a conversation with a friend of mine about this, where we were on about houses and how you kind of exist in them, and I was like, I've done this thing ever since I was a kid, where I sit in places I've never sat in my own house. So I find a corner and I'm like, I'm going to sit in this corner. And I'm going to look at this room, and I sit on my landing. Because I like sitting on stairs. It's like being outside the house. You see it from a whole new perspective because it's somewhere you shouldn't normally exist in a permanent way. It's somewhere that you should just be moving through. In books, when stuff happens in those places, it's so key because there is something transient about that moment, and it's usually something where something is changing or something big is happening because there's a shift, because it's not a permanent space, so they can't stay in that moment forever. There's something weird about the difference in it. Bathrooms are fascinating as well. Which, again, as I say it, super weird. But if I just wandered off to your bathroom and didn't come back for 2 hours, you'd be like, Jenny, you all right? What are you doing? And I'd be like, oh no, I'm just sitting here reading, or just sitting here on my phone, or whatever. But it's really socially unacceptable and totally, completely out of the norm for someone to use a bathroom as a permanent space. And it's that kind of impermanence, again, that works. You go in there to do a ritual or like get ready in the morning, and it's all like reflective surfaces as well. Like most bathrooms will have a mirror, will have tiles, will have glass somewhere,
and it's this weird boxed room that is a room but not really a room.
Yeah.
It's not a room in the same sense that a living room is a room. And it's got all of these different connotations. I just love it. Love it. A room with reflective surfaces that isn't a permanent space is like, ooh. Or it's like a gold mine when I'm writing about stuff like that. Because you can just, a book by, what is she called? Jenny Joy LaBelle. That's it. And it's called Her Self-Beheld Literature Through the Looking Glass. And it talks all about how like mirrors and tiles and reflective surfaces play a part in massive bits of literature, not just Alice in Wonderland, but in loads of different things. And it's the idea of like potentially like the reflection of the self, and the idea of the character's own connection to the image that they see, which is kind of all a bit hit and miss as a reader, because you're like, okay, so I've got to relate to an image of a person who's seeing an image. Oh, I love it so much. It's so interesting to me, and everyone's like, all right then, okay. I'm like, no, I love it. Space is fascinating. I don't know how I got there, but there we are. I just don't know how I managed to lead it into this, but
no, but that's good. I like it.
I am a tangential. I am like,
I mean, I can understand it in a sense anyway, because I studied film photography. So I did a lot of like mise en scène and all the things about building a scene and what, because obviously within a film everything is placed. Nothing's accidental. That
is exactly the same in literature. It's not. Nothing is accidental.
But then I find that interesting from a literature point of view, because when people watch films, they appreciate that. It's like with theatre, they appreciate that there. But then when they read a book and then are told to study the book, they're like, well, yeah, but did the writer really mean to put that there? Or did they just want them to be in a bathroom? Like, it's a casual room. So does every writer think about that? And I'm like, well, yeah, because they wrote the words.
Yeah, exactly. It's like with every, it's like, oh, but did they really mean that? It's like, well, I mean, we could write anything about it and inscribe our own thing, but there is a specific reason that someone has done this. It's like with anything, like with films, like they put it there for a reason. There is a direct reason for that being there. It's not just because it's like thrown in.
Yeah, there was no way they were writing a scene and then they're like, oh wait, why are they in the bathroom? When did they end up? I didn't put them there.
No, I didn't put them in there.
I physically put them there. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I know, I could go on about it for so long. It's great. There's so much you can do with that. It's like and when you start thinking about it, your brain just sort of is like, oh, click, 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 like all these different things that you can do. But then it's sometimes harder to switch off because I wanted to do a PhD with it, but just getting funding in the arts is like, so it's sometimes hard to switch it off when I'm reading something else and I'm like, oh my God, this spatially is amazing. I'm like, oh God, I want to write about it. And then you're like, oh, I can't, never mind.
Learning about symbolism ruins things.
Oh God, so much. But what does this mean?
Is that one of those things of, I've learned about photography and films. Like, so now watching films can be terrible.
See, I'm glad I didn't do that because I can still enjoy films for what they are. But
it happens all the time.
Books, sometimes you do have to switch your brain out of it and be like, come on.
See, I can do a bit more with books. But I think that's because I fabricate the world in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm not so much looking for things, because I'm like, no, I'm making this.
See, that's why books are so amazing. You create these whole huge worlds in your head.
Yeah.
From literally this one little thing, and you can create an entire universe. Okay. Which I bet if you were talking about a certain book, you can remember what that looks like in your head, and you can probably recall that.
Yeah, I think that's why so many people have trouble when they make a film or TV show of a book, because it doesn't match what you had.
Yeah, and everyone's perception of it is different.
Yeah. Everyone's going to picture something completely different.
Yeah.
Unless you were sat there going, you know what, I think Robert Downey Jr. could be Sherlock Holmes. Whilst reading Sherlock Holmes, you'd be like, oh wait, they did it, and that's amazing. And,
See, I have to admit, Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes.
See, I haven't watched
Sherlock. What? Oh, you need to get on that. It's fantastic.
My general
Not because
experience,
I love him a lot, but...
Well, I don't know. No, my general experience of Benedict Cumberbatch is from Tinker Tailor.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like a side... he's a side character in it.
He's so
I've not
good.
really watched anything focused on.
I like
Badge.
See, I really
Badge. I don't know.
No, mate, Badge.
He's got a really long name.
He has got a really long name. I know.
I don't think I could call him Benny and get away with it.
Oh goodness! I think with that version of stuff, the way that the pace is, if you've read the Conan Doyle stuff. The pace is correct. The way he clicks over and starts working things out and speaks and sort of goes, it matches the tone of the book and the way it moves. Okay. And then the way it's filmed matches that too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so good. can't remember what I watched that was like that recently, and I was like, oh, it's filmed really well. Flowers.
Yeah, so I've been meaning to watch Flowers.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably dark and twisty and morbid.
Yeah.
But if you like that kind of thing, like me and my mum sat there and were laughing so much. But then there's points where you're like, oh no, this is so sad. But some people, like, when I've talked about it, they watch it and they're like, what have you watched? I'm like, it's great. They're like, yeah, it's weird, Jen. It's so good.
I love it when you say people a show like that, though. It's like BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
Like, so many people are watching that at the minute and seeing it at the minute. And some people love it. And other people are like, I don't get it. I do not understand like, why you would want to watch this. It's the most depressing thing I've seen. And like, that's kind of the idea.
You're like, that's the kind of the idea. It's funny.
Like, I'm involved in that. That's
You're like, it's funny to me.
It's nice.
You're like, relatable. I can relate to that so much. There is it's weird in Flowers as well. I was watching it and there is a couple of scenes in it, one in particular that I related to so much that I sort of was sat there and I remember sitting there and thinking, oh my God, that is so relatable. And you're like, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting to relate to that on that level, or you feel like it's just your own personal experience with like mental health or something, and you're like, oh, I can't relate to that, or like, oh, everyone's experience is different. But actually watching it, you're like, shit, that is exactly how it goes down. You're like, that is on the like nail on the head goes down. Me and Mel were talking about that and she was like, it's so on the nose about things. It was amazing. Watch it. I mean, not that I'm being demanding about it, but I'm not asking you to watch it. I'm telling you to watch it. Yes. You just need to. It's so good. But watch the first series first, though.
Well, yeah, it's the first series.
I know, but some people don't.
Why would I start on the second
series?
I
don't know. Some people just jump into things.
No, I can't do that.
Sometimes I do read books out of sequence.
No, I couldn't do that either. I'd have to start with the first book.
No, I don't mind.
Same with like games. I couldn't skip.
Really? You couldn't.
The only thing I can do that with is like films, where it's part of like a larger universe, and I just don't care.
Yeah.
But then, I'd go out of my way to watch the first ones. Like I went to see, I think it was like Taken 3.
Right.
And I imagine the story's not that important. But I watched Taken 1 and 2.
You felt like you had to get
Yeah, I had to get some background. Couldn't
research.
Go in there blind.
I was going to say, don't go in blind.
I'm not sure what Liam Neeson.
I'm a big fan of research. Like, I'm the same. It's like, no, I've got to have some knowledge about this because if I don't, I'm going to feel uneducated about it all.
I think I saw a Saw film as well, that sequence.
Oh.
And I was just like...
Horrifying thought.
But I read the Wikipedia article before I went to the film.
That's what I would do.
I was like, I've missed 2 films. I need to know what happens in those 2 films.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is
they're going to explain it in the film. I don't know.
No, I need to at least go in with some sort of context. Yeah, I need context
I need
for
to be
it.
informed.
The only series I think that I've kind of read out of sequence was, oh my goodness, they're these ones by Ben Aronovich, and they're okay.
Yeah.
Like they're not amazing, but they're kind of like, I don't know, like urban fantasy maybe, like detective, got magical powers in the present time. But I bought one from a charity shop because I'd seen it in Waterstones and thought, oh, that sounds all right.
Yeah.
Bought one, and that was definitely like 4th in the sequence. But now it's like a game to go into a charity shop. Is there going to be a Ben Aronovich in there that I don't have? So I'm slowly building up the collection. But so far I've got like 5, 7, 9, 2. Like it's out of sequence completely. But that is the fun of buying in charity shops. It's a game to find the ones that you aren't willing to pay full price for.
Because you'll not get a full set in a charity shop.
No. Although I've got a few really... I got the full set of the Hunger Games.
Nice.
In charity shop, and I got this full set. It's amazing. I think I got it for a £5, and it's 13 books, and it's all modern women's writing.
That's interesting.
So like it's 20th century women's writers, like important ones like Amy Tan and things like that, and it's beautiful. It was still in the cellophane, and it's got like these beautiful, there must be about 13 or 14 books in it, and it came in the case, and they're like metallic spines, all different. Oh my god, it was such a find. I was like, well, that's coming home with me. I don't know any of these books, but it's coming home with me.
That's impressive.
I know, I found some good stuff.
So I was going to ask you about your top 5 books.
Oh, right, okay.
But I thought of a different question instead.
Ooh, okay.
So, because it seems like top 5 books seems like a really easy book question.
No.
Well, like an easy one, like a go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead I was going to ask you for the one character you'd want to meet from fiction.
Ooh.
One period you would live in.
Ooh.
And one period you wouldn't. Like one universe.
What universe wouldn't I live in?
Any, yeah. Because it looks nice, but at the same time the idea of living there would be terrible.
Would be horrifying. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is hard. Right, character. Who would I want to meet?
But bearing in mind we just said that we can't meet our idols, it'd be interesting to see who you pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking. Oh, let me think. Who would I want to meet? Do you know what? I read a book this year. Oh no, but she's kind of one I only read this year. See, this is the thing is I want to meet people I've read this year because it was really good, but
But you have such an expanse.
I know, this is the thing is like I've got to like really go through my brains of people I can meet.
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily have to be fictional. You could do reality if you've read autobiographies and whatnot. But then again, you'd be meeting a celebrity, could you?
I know, I couldn't do it. And I'm not an autobiography fan. No, it's the kind of a genre of... I'm not very good with non-fiction. I need a story to pull me in. And people's lives are kind of boring. I'm established. Not a fan of that many other people, just specific people. Yeah. Just my tier. And then I'm massive fans. I'm like a cheerleader. Oh my gosh. I'm trying really hard. Like, I'm literally going through a catalogue in my brain of like a Rolodex of things I've read. Oh, come on, like Jenny. Pull yourself together. I know, I think you just broke me. Oh, see, but then there's ones that I'm like, oh, they'd be great, but they're really mainstream now. Okay. And it sounds really obnoxious if I say them.
Like who, though?
Like Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
So the character from it, because she would have been amazing to me, like, because it just would have been wonderful. But I'm kind of like, oh no. But then I'm like, would I have met Anne Frank? But she's not a character.
No.
But she was a real person and she was fucking cool. And I would love to meet her and be like, I'm really sorry. Oh. Now I'm thinking about the conversations I would have with people. That's the problem is I'm meeting them. Already I'm having a worrying conversations like, how would this go?
I like the idea that you meet Anne Frank and just apologise.
I've got to.
Like, I'm sorry. But you may have to go back, otherwise your diary's not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, we need to talk about something.
Really sorry.
Surprise, you're a great author. And I'm so sorry. And then probably cry.
I love that Burnham joke about Anne Frank, where he's just like on about how we've all violated our privacy by reading a diary.
I know. Oh, I love that book. See, and I love To Kill a Mockingbird because that was the first book I read that was like, I think I got it with a Waterstones voucher that I got for my birthday. And I went in and I was like, right, I've heard of this book. Literally knew nothing about it, just heard the name. And then I was like, all right, let's get it out of the adult classics section. Yeah. Go. No idea what I was reading, had no clue. Turned out I loved it. It was the best thing I'd ever read at the time. Yeah. And realised what good literature could be and just sort of all tumbled on from there. But, could I meet Atticus?
See, I couldn't.
Why?
I don't like him as a character.
Really?
I read To Kill a Mockingbird and I was like, this guy's so whiny. I would not be able to be around him as a person.
Oh, our friendship's just died.
I know.
I'm really sad. No.
But, yeah, it was one of the things I read To Kill a Mockingbird and I couldn't. It's the same with stuff by Jane Austen. I've read a lot of Jane Austen and characters I just absolutely despise within them.
Oh, I really love Jane Austen stuff, but I love Persuasion. Like, it is one of my favourite. I've got another thing that I do is I collect Persuasions.
Right.
Because I'm a weirdo who loves to collect same copies of books. But I've got a lot of copies of Persuasion, but her earlier books, there's a lot of characters and a lot going on and it annoys me. Like, it frustrates me that everyone's like, oh, let's do that. I'm like, all right, calm down everyone, there's like 18 characters here. Yeah. Whereas in Persuasion, it was the last one and it was published after she died as well. And there's only about 6 characters, if that, and it's only focused on 2 of them. Okay. And it's a lot more adult. Like, when you read it, you can tell that her writing has grown up. I mean, I know I'm trying to convince you and be like, please read Jane Austen because she's so lovely. But I can respect your opinions. It's okay. I have issues. I don't know who I could meet. I'm struggling so much.
Okay, so what about like universe you'd go to then?
Ooh, what universe would I go to?
I mean, I'm assuming
do you know who I would meet? Do you know? So I've just thought who I would meet. Go. Ursula in Life After Life. Okay. So Life After Life is Kate Atkinson. Right. And it's out a few years ago. I can't remember. She's written a sort of prequel, sequel thing since then. But Life After Life is this character Ursula who she's born and then literally the first page is like she's born, something happens, and then she dies. Okay. And then she constantly dies and comes back to life and starts again from the beginning. And we're constantly going backwards and forwards. Right. And then like the second page it's like, oh, she dies, and then the second page it's like, oh, and then she shot him, and it's like, say what now? And then you're like, right, let's go.
Okay.
She's amazing because she dies and comes back to life constantly, and she lives like the Blitz like 20 times over.
Right.
Because she's constantly been bombed at a certain point.
Okay.
And it's like every time she does something different but ends up in a certain place, and oh, I'd love to meet her.
Okay.
That would be amazing. Oh, wow. I'd be like, what is it like just constantly coming back again and making different decisions and changing history? And because sometimes she's aware of it and sometimes she's not aware of it, and it's
kind of fragmented.
Oh, see, now I've got more. Or the guy from that How to Stop Time, because he's seen like 300 years, 350 years, something like that.
Okay.
Imagine the sort of things you could talk about.
Getting a lot of time travel vibes.
I know, which is surprising because I'm not normally like into time travelling, but which
yeah,
is
you are.
just randomly like, bye everyone. But
we also isn't so much time travelling, you just want someone who's lived a very long time.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just like old people.
Just some eternal person. Okay.
Yeah, there is something about someone telling me stuff that I don't already know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They would be cool. I would meet those two.
Okay.
I picked two because I can't answer just
fine.
one. I'm too worried to like box myself into one thing. Even one character.
Okay. So universe.
Okay, universe. Oh, do you know what? I don't know. Oh, it would be an Atwood universe.
Okay.
Probably the Oryx and Crake. No, what is it called? Mad Adam trilogy.
Okay.
Which is Oryx and Crake, Year of the Flood, and Mad Adam.
Right.
And even though it's a crazy dystopian type of universe, it would be insane to live in.
Yeah.
Because the first book is kind of like about this guy, and then we realise that he's all alone on this island with this weird group of people who are like superhumans.
Okay.
And it's about how we get to that point. Then the next book is like a prequel where it's two other people alongside have like experienced the same thing. And then the final book is from that point onwards.
Right.
And how they kind of try and live in a weird universe with them. But it's amazing and it's dark and horrible. So I don't know why I'd want to go there. But at the same time, I'd just love to live there where these mutant pigs that have been grown to house human organs and have taken on human personalities and are crazy. Just that kind of thing. I don't know why I would want to live in a dystopian universe, but I think it'd be just, if I could come out of it and be like, nope, I'm done now.
Yeah.
I need to come back. I think that would be fine. I couldn't live there permanently.
Escape,
yeah, as long as I've got an escape route, that's fine.
Okay. So where couldn't you live?
Where couldn't I live?
Oh, where seems like nice to live, but you couldn't.
Anything that is like Tudor time.
Yeah.
Anything like that. So any books or any universes or time periods that are like Tudor, anywhere pre kind of like the sewage system. Like, I like hot water. And I like toilets. And
I can see that as a reasonable, because I think that's something like people don't consider.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
They go, oh no, I'd love to live in Edwardian times because of all the clothes and whatnot. Like, but
it would be disgusting. We'd all smell like horribly. I would probably be in a corset. I wouldn't be allowed to do anything because I'm a female.
You wouldn't be able to in a corset.
I couldn't. Well, I'd just be lying there like this. I'd just do nothing, just all day. I would go out of my mind.
You'd be able to read though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like to have opinions on it.
You wouldn't be able to do nothing, but you'd be able to read
all the time. But I couldn't read anything that was banned. I couldn't read anything by a woman because they hadn't been written, or it had, but under a pseudonym. I wouldn't be able to do anything or have an opinion on anything.
That's true.
And I'd probably get married off to someone who wasn't very nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless I went the opposite way and became like a political renegade. But I'm quite lazy, so I don't think I would. I think I'd just be like, oh.
So you can't go back in time because you don't feel like you'd be able to escape what you...
No, yeah. I think I'd end up like the very typical...
Just standard.
Yeah, like gone crazy because she's stuck in a house and like yellow wallpaper it.
Yeah.
Which, just gone nuts in the middle of it. Just decorate my house. I don't know what, I couldn't do it.
No.
I need to be post... Well...
I mean, would you be able to go just before like suffragettes then?
I kind of would want to be in the suffragettes.
But then you just said you were lazy.
I know.
But then I guess someone else is putting the work in, so you could just join the cause.
Maybe in another universe, Graham, I'm really active. Maybe. Just think of that. Maybe I'm super active. No, I just wouldn't be. I'd be like sitting at home like, oh, they're doing a really good job and I wish I could go. And go to like one march and then probably be like, and
go back home to your abusive husband. And...
Oh. See, that again, wouldn't want to do anything like... Well, no one would want that, but...
No.
I think that would... I just couldn't... I'd be bored out of my mind if I lived in those areas. I'd love to go sort of... Kind of like the idea of... I don't know. Like, Sarah Waters' worlds in those time periods are way more fun and crazy.
Okay.
But that's because she writes, like, insane literature about, like, the underworlds of all sorts of stuff going on.
That's pretty cool.
Which is great. Yeah. But just because I think it'd be fun, because you're allowed to do a lot more in those books. But that's neo-historical, so it's not real.
Right.
Well, real.
I mean, we're not really dealing with reality right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's not really real enough for me. So let me just think practically of the time periods I could go back to.
I think that's a fair shout, though.
Yeah.
Like, not going back in time. Because, I mean, I'm quite privileged that I could go back to any time period and be fine.
Yeah. You'll be fucking grand. Yeah. You could do what the fuck you wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be an Egyptian queen. I'd be fucking Cleopatra. That made it sound like...
Would you be fucking Cleopatra,
or
you would be actual Cleopatra?
That, there's a comma in that, and it says, I would be Cleopatra.
Okay, right.
But I wouldn't be fucking Cleopatra.
Okay.
Sorry. That is
it's
a
straight...
That's, no, not really... No, it's a bit much vagina for me, but each to their own.
That's fair.
That's my preference. What can I say? But she's still Cleopatra, so probably if she was like, come on, Jen, I'd be like, do you know what? You're the fucking Queen of Egypt. Let's do what we got to do.
I don't feel like there'd be much choice in...
No, probably not, because I'd get murdered
even if you didn't want to, yeah.
I know. Have you watched like those Spartacus ones? I know it's like a different time period, Romans and Egyptians. I get that, but...
Like mildly?
The Spartacus, like War of the Damned and...
Right. No, I've not seen
Vengeance.
all of them. I've seen bits, but like...
They are so good. And they are just... Everyone's having sex with everyone. Everyone's in whorehouses. People are all sweaty and like good looking. That would have been a laugh, but I'd have been, again, murdered straight off. Like, unless I was like seriously gladiator, like buff.
Yeah. See, I think that's what would get me killed in the past, to be my opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my non-religiousness would not go down well in the past.
Yeah, you'd just be like...
I'd be hereticked.
Be exiled.
But then I'd be able to live fine. I'd have plenty of money.
I could live in the woods. This is the thing.
I could just seclude myself.
See, but you get exiled and then write probably some sort of like depressive poetry and then a really interesting book about how like the world's different and shaped and everyone will hail you as a political renegade for it and you'll write this...
No, I'd get killed in the time and then 20 years later someone would read it and be like,
yeah. Maybe. I wouldn't be able to do any of that.
I'm just going to click record on it.
Oh.
Has a power setting.
Oh. I've talked so long, I've talked the camera off.
Well, it's not as bad as it was.
I don't feel like I've had any structure at this point to this, and I'm very sorry that my talking is unstructured.
I mean, you're doing better than the one which I did with my gran, so you may just lose
video
thank
for
you
the last
bit. But no, the one I do with my gran is the first one I'm ever going to have to edit.
Why? Because she took a phone call?
Because she took a phone call in the middle. Because she's like, we got about 20 minutes in before we actually introduced her. It was a long drawn out process.
I kind of love it. I kind of want to watch the whole thing, like the uncut version. Yeah. You need to have two versions.
Two versions.
Director's cut and then the uncut version.
But as we obviously, we're coming past an hour. I'll bring it to the end. As a final question, what book should people read next? As your recommendation, and you can only pick one. I asked the hard questions.
You did. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it could be just your favourite book.
I know, but my favourite book is probably my favourite book because of like my experiences with it.
But then other people might have had experiences.
I know. Just general experiences.
No, everyone lives in a bubble.
A buddle?
A buddle.
Ooh.
It's like a small yurt.
What book should they read? I'm trying to really hard to think of a really good book that people should read. But, oh my word. Come on, Jen. I'm trying to scale through. Like, I'm literally looking through my bookshelves at home thinking, come on. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Let me get my phone.
Okay.
Because I wrote some down because I was like, I'm so bad at remembering names and things like that.
So this is why one reason I'm terrible at character names and stuff like that. So discussing books, I'm always a bit of a loss, even though I've read the book and enjoyed it.
Let me see. No. I would recommend them, but not like as a book to read, as the next book to read. Do you know what? I would recommend Life After Life by Kate Atkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's such a good book. It's not inaccessible to people, but the story is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's really well written. She's a brilliant author, and yeah, I would totally recommend Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. That would be my next one.
I think that's a good point to end on.
Thank you.
A solid book recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming.
You're very welcome.
And discussing the world of books as a legit book nerd. Official book nerd.
I've got a tattoo of a book on my ankle, so surely that makes me official. Permanently into my body.
What book is it?
It's not a specific book. It's
just a book.
A book.
A book. Okay, that's nice then. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming either way, Jen.
Thank you.
I'm sure they will appreciate the world of books and whatnot.
Hopefully. I'm sorry if it was a little bit tangential, but that is
it always
how
is
I
though
work.
when I do these.
I know.
It gets a bit off.
And this is our first proper time meeting, so we had a lot to discuss. Welcome to my personality.
Well, welcome. We're happy for it. Thank you. We'll talk to these guys later.